I think that a lot of times with organizations, even though you could argue that Atlanta's been star-crossed for many years as a franchise, this, though, with Arthur Blank and this new group that you've got there, I think that they are on their way to something special. And a lot of times you need to get there first before you actually get beyond it and have a chance to play and win a Super Bowl. But Tony Gonzalez coming back, I think, is pretty important. Now, he certainly made it sound as though it was over.
Yeah.
But he didn't, he said if. He used that one too.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, do you think that the commitment will be made to maybe do their best to bring him back? And maybe what kind of role would it be for Matty Ice to play in terms of coercing him into coming back? Because you're that close, and I still think at 16 years, I still think he's the best.
Oh, I do too. And I'll tell you this now. I mean, he plays at 36. He plays better than most 23-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even close. I mean, he's wearing guys out in the secondary who are 13 years younger than he is.
That's right.
Tim, he and Matt are very good friends. No getting around that. Matt's trying to get him to learn how to play golf, which I think is pretty hilarious. And Tony talks to me a lot about what he wants to do when football's over, about doing stuff with television, being a part of radio and things.
Right.
So I know that's on his mind.
Yeah.
He is an incredible person, not to mention a great tight end, but I do think they have to have that conversation and what he wants to do. Mm-hmm. I have never thought that he would be back next year. I've always thought that this was the end.
Okay.
And when they beat Seattle, I thought it was for sure. Had they won yesterday, I knew for a fact it'd be over. Mm-hmm. But now I don't know. It's interesting. What does he want to do? He's an incredibly conditioned athlete. He means a tremendous amount to this organization on so many fronts. His impact here will be felt long after he retires, just in the way he has gone about his business. So it is an interesting decision, but I do agree with what you said in the tweet yesterday. And look at the two teams going to New Orleans.
That's right.
When you think about the stage the 49ers were on a year ago where Kyle Williams fumbled the punt, Lawrence Tynes kicks the Giants to Indianapolis in the Super Bowl, and look at what Joe Flacco and John Harbaugh have been through to get back to a Super Bowl. Scrap the Ray Lewis retirement thing. That's a nice story. Mm-hmm. But for Flacco to do what he's done, and to get to that stage now, it's pretty remarkable. And the Ravens are playing really, really well. It sets up to be a really fine football game.
It does, and I will tell you that I think he need to look only to Ray Lewis, though. Gonzalez, I think, could profit a great deal from having a conversation with Ray because it doesn't have to end this way. It doesn't.
It can end, and it can end on a stage in New York next year at MetLife Stadium in the Super Bowl if Tony wants it to. The interesting discussions, beyond Gonzalez, Tim, are going to be, they've got to get Matt Ryan's contract done here in the offseason, William Moore, the safety. They're going to have to make some decisions, Michael Turner, the offensive line, some other guys in and around this football team. But this is a franchise that I do think is got a tremendous amount of staying power, which is what Thomas Dimitroff promised when he arrived here in January of 2008.